So yesterday there was a little Zoom lift thing that we did yesterday, the RGSI triathlon, which is 3 minutes jerk, 3 minutes long cycle, 4 minute snatch. And that was at 9:30. And what happened was, and this is typically what happens. So long story short, I sprained my back a little bit. Nothing crazy. What a muscle strain is basically when you overstretch the muscles potentially, or over contract even, which potentially leads to either some micro tearing or of one or several muscle fibers, or has resulted in some swelling, potentially around some nerve endings that may create some discomfort. So basically right now, and usually for me when it happens, it's not super noticeable, but it's usually a number of hours or the day after that you kind of start to feel, oh, that doesn't feel good. So reasons why this could have happened for me, number one is, you got to be smart about your training. So for me yesterday, we were going to lift at 9:30. I was working on the computer pretty well up until 9:15 and then came out and started doing some really brief warming up. And so the main thing here is I did not warm up well enough. Wasn't anywhere near as long as I need to warm up. And that's also going to be relative to what you're demanding of your body. So if I was, say, going to lift like the 16s, which are very light for me, I would need less warm up to get there. But against my better judgment, and due to some social pressures and things like that, and I feel like I need to maintain a certain level of performance or image that it goes along with that, given that I am sort of a higher level athlete and a coach and stuff like that. I try to lead by example. I lifted the 24s and it was too much too soon. I had also trained the day before. I didn't think I was going to be feeling the day before as much as I was, but I was. My hamstrings were tight, and usually for me in particular, if my psoas are tight, those are the muscles that basically connect your femur to your lumbar, and when they're tight, they kind of really pull onto the lumbar and crank your lumbar in. And then my hamstrings were tight, which were forcing my pelvis in the opposite direction. And then overall, just not very warmed up. Muscles weren't super pliable yet. Not a lot of flexibility in those tissues. And so it was just too much weight, too much bounce, too much velocity, too much rapid stretching, and ended up straining my back a little bit. So for me to, right now, to posterior tilt, and to put that much stretch on my back is uncomfortable. But if I move in the opposite direction, that's not uncomfortable at all. So today is going to be about how do you continue to train with a back sprain? Well, we have to evaluate the things that we know that we can't do. So what I'm going to avoid is any sort of rapid, explosive movements, any very rapid hip dominant type movements. I want to try to use my hips as little as possible today, outside of just basic mobility, which I will do some of. But going to focus on not even necessarily lighter weight, but it's going to be focused on muscles and areas of the body that don't require a big demand from the hips. So isolation movements for the arms, chest, back. Lunges should be fine, but not weighted distally. So I don't want to throw some weight up on my shoulders and do a bunch of lower body stuff per se, because that will add a considerable amount of stress through the trunk, and which will cause those trunk muscles to want to engage and tighten, and that'll just compress those nerve endings even more and make it uncomfortable. Here's what I'm going to say. So there's pain that tells you that something's wrong. There's pain that is going to be there regardless of what you do. So I have a strain, there's going to be pain there. I'm going to feel it today through the workout, but the difference is you need to be able to get to a point where you understand what sort of discomfort is making things worse or what sort of discomfort is just part of the process. So obviously if I engage my abdominal wall and I feel that discomfort, that doesn't mean I'm doing something bad by tightening my abs. It just means that it's just feedback, right? It's letting me know that it's reminding me that there's something going on back there and that I need to be aware of it. But just tightening those muscles isn't doing anything worse, isn't making anything worse. My number one piece of advice for dealing with a muscle strain in general in terms of healing: time and rest. Time and rest, time and rest. No stretching, no ice. I'm a big fan of heat. Feels great. Don't try to speed the process up beyond what is physiologically normal or possible. Your body will heal on its own. It just needs time. Don't try to force it. So that's my best advice with that.
You can call me stupid. Listen, you can call me sheep. You can say I